78.6 FM Yomatan, positive vibes with Winsome. And like I always say, there's nowhere else I'd rather be on a Saturday morning than right here with you in Okinawa, Yomatan Village, 78.6 FM, speaking life into whoever is listening. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I am so grateful, excited to be back. Today is my 3-year anniversary here on the station. 3 years with FM Yomatan. And I'll take you all the way back to the way this journey started, coming here from, I believe I was coming back from Greenland, right? So I had a small break from Greenland to come here. I had been doing radio in Greenland, been really enjoying life on the radio out there, speaking life into the 500 plus on that camp. And that was really an amazing adventure. Got here, had some wonderful opportunities with AFN to do some speaking, and then, of course, the American Forces Network here in Okinawa. And then here, locally, 78.6 FM Yomatan, an amazing staff, an amazing crew. Welcome me like family, the only American on the staff. And let me tell you something. I am so excited to be celebrating my 3-year anniversary right here. I made it back just in time from the training that we were doing in Alabama, and also the experience that we had over in, what was that before? The Philippine Air Force, headquarters, Philippines. So back-to-back travels and adventures led me right back here on my 3-year anniversary. New shirt, new vibe, new energy, new start, new year. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. So let's talk about it. Let's jump right in, right? We got time. I got nothing but time this morning. So I just came back from, as I mentioned, Maxwell, Alabama. The name of the base is Montgomery, Alabama. And I'll slow it down for the folks who are listening and if you're driving. So I spent some time. We had the CSS, which is the Commander Support Staff Inspire Conference. And my role was easy. They're talking about programs. They're talking about the things that are in development with the United States Air Force systems, all this stuff all day. Then I get to come in the afternoon, right? So I believe the mantra was educate something and inspire, which you guys know mine already is educate, encourage, and inspire. So when I heard there's of course, a training opportunity for me to inspire, and I had that last to block, I don't care what you heard about all day. I don't care what traffic was coming at you, programs, systems, numbers. Let me get in here and speak life. Let's go. And I had an amazing time with that group. Let me tell you, that team, the folks who put that together, if you were responsible for putting together this event, and if you're not tracking, there were 450 personnel from all over the world, 4 different career fields, enlisted officers and civilians. And in addition to the 450 that were in the room, 7.5 thousand watching online. So here we go. I'm not even paying attention to the numbers. I am energized by the crowd, just the energy they brought. I know they came and they're like, who's this guy? Right? When I walk in with this bright red shirt on, and once we started collaborating and the energy, the engagement, once the energy started flowing through that group, I'll tell you, I was so excited. There was a moment, and I shared this with some really close friends of mine, when I first got there, and I'm going to go backwards to go forwards. Can I say this because we have time, right? So I'm going to go backwards. 1 year ago, I was in that same building as a student. So we have a class that they call the Senior Non-Commissioned Officer Academy that they sent me to. So I'm in this place at that time as a student, sitting in one of the chairs, dozing off, right? Because I'll tell you, some of those lessons that we had to go and sit in, dozing off, right? And I remember one time I sat in that chair, knowing what I do back here, knowing the vibe that I give and I try to give and be consistent with every single day. I sat in that chair and I was like, who hired this guy? Whose man's is this, right? I could do that, and I could bring a different energy if I was up there on that stage. It was a thought. It wasn't a goal. It wasn't a challenge. It was a thought. One of those, it would be cool one day if I can do what he's doing just differently and do it my way, right? So let me tell you, if you're listening, 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome, FM Yomatan, I am so excited to share that 1 year later, I was on that stage. 1 year later, I was able to speak live. That thought, that vision that I had of myself standing up there, that vision actually came true. So it's crazy. Sometimes we put ourselves in these situations. We have those visions, but we never follow through with them, right? We just think it's a wish, it's a dream, it's up there. And that is exactly what I went to the Inspire conference to talk about. There were three things. First, we talked about creating a coaching culture, right? With the help of 2RL, Two Roads Leadership, and of course, Flatter Inc. We presented a wonderful program to tell everybody how you can, if you don't want to become a coach, how you can bring that kind of culture to your units, your family, your team, whatever you're doing, whatever you're in charge of, how you can bring that to you, or whatever you're a part of. That was one, right? Secondly, we talked about actionable goal steps. And I'll talk about a little bit more of that in a minute, but taking actionable goals, right? Or making actionable goals. Because a lot of people make goals and make absolutely no sense for their life, their reality. So we talked about how to make it realistic, right? I took some of the Department of Defense's terms, or should I say Air Force's terms, and I flipped it to say, hey, this is some of the things that in books sitting out here in the world right now, like Atomic Habits, which was one that I pulled from a lot. And thank you, Atomic Habits. If you guys haven't read that, it's an amazing book. So some of those concepts, flipped it a little bit and brought my own to it, right? And then third and last, when we were in that room, we talked about of course, happier no matter what. I'm going to tell you, Dr. Tao, the Happiness Studies Academy, I can't tell you how much I appreciate the trust that you put into me over the last couple of months to present the material and to share it and to open people's eyes to what the Spire model actually is, what anti-fragility actually is. To have an opportunity to share that, not just locally, but now on this stage, and to take the love and support that you brought with me, man. I really appreciated that trust, and I hope I gave everyone everything I had and I did your material justice. Not just the Atomic Habits material that I tweaked a little bit and made my own remix, right? But also happier no matter what, just from the time that you guys spent into making sure I was doing things right. And I took the concepts, and the concepts were on point, and they echoed what you were trying to, the message you were trying to send in your book. So thank you so much, Dr. Tal Ben Shahar and the Happiness Studies Academy, for that support, encouragement. Thank you, Dr. Flatter, Dr. J.R. Flatter, for your support, your encouragement. Lauren Kaladi for preparing me for this. We went slide by slide. And if you guys don't know what that's like, when you're presenting someone else's material, right? Because I got my own piece, but the part that's not mine, when you're presenting that material, you want to make sure that you're presenting that material in a way that is representing and the same intent as whoever owns it. So going line by line and slide by slide to make sure that, hey, this is the intent, yet flip it and bring your own energy, right? So that was the goal. That was the thought process, and it worked. Let me tell you, and I don't judge it by just saying it worked from my own point of view, right? Because I don't believe in doing that. This is the feedback from the crowd, the audience, the emails, the text messages, everything since that day, from the very first seminar. It's a 3-day seminar. But from the very first seminar, everything from that day has been nothing but beautiful, positive feedback. And that's how I know it was sent and it was received the way it was intended. So, man, if you were a part of putting together the Inspire conference, if you attended, or if, of course, you trusted me to be a part of it, thank you, thank you, thank you. I almost forgot Trainer's Warehouse. So to kick everybody off, of course, I took my little thumb ball. I didn't bring it today. I haven't been bringing it to the station, right? But I took the thumb balls with me and I tested a few of them, right? So a few of those thumb balls, we were throwing them around the audience and we were testing them. And what that was doing was it was allowing folks to get those questions going, those conversations started. And it was like, it was ideal. It was perfect. It was like, wow, I couldn't have planned this better. I had a vision of how I hoped it would turn out. I had a vision of the outcome I was hoping for, but to see it all play out, right? To see how special it ended up being, that's what it was all about. It wasn't about me at all. It was about how many people were actually educated, encouraged, and inspired. 78.6 FM Yomitan, Positive Vibes with Winsome. I am so excited to be back in the booth. So excited to share this with you. So excited to talk about the adventure. And right before I was in Montgomery, Alabama, I was in Manila, Philippines. And I just want to send a shout out to the headquarters Philippine Air Force for receiving me on that trip and us putting our brains together for the exchange training program that's supposed to be kicking off this year, rolling into 2025. Like, it's a real blessing to be a part of these things on the way out of my career, right? We talk about this coming up on that last lap, right? About a year. I'm looking at it. It's literally about a few more months than a year, about 14 months right now. So as I'm planning and looking at all the things that have been created, building, and that are actually moving, it is such a blessing to be a part of it and to know that's going to be part of my legacy when I'm gone, right? That guy was part of this. That guy was part of the vision of this, and it's such a good feeling to be able to share these things with everyone. So what was this goal setting class about? I thought it was pretty cool. I wrote some things down that I was actually pulling or discussing while I was there. One of the biggest things that we talk about was, what is your pull? Right? And it's an acronym. It's for the first one, for the P example, is procrastination, right? Or lack of preparation. A lot of these things that we talk about, lack of planning, it was really cool to be able to share an acronym that I came up with a group that had never heard anything like that. But all it was is piecing together all of the things that keeps us away from accomplishing our goals, our dreams, our visions. What are these things that are keeping us away from them, right? So I broke it down, and I'll talk about that more in the next segment, but I broke it down so everybody can be like, oh, that's me, or that one's me, or it could be more than one of them, right? But those are the things that we talked about in the goal setting. What is your pull? Another thing was really important, you guys know it's very important to me, is what type of mentors do you have in your life? So I spent a lot of time on the main three, right? The big three. Your personal mentor. That person that's telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. That person that's making sure you stand on your 2 feet, waking up and doing what you're supposed to be doing. Who's that person or those people in your life, those mentors? Then your professional mentor. Your professional mentor who's carrying a torch right now in the job that you have or the career that you're looking at and you're in, and you see that person, you're like, that's the kind of person I want to be in this career. And they're holding you accountable for your career progression, your steps you're taking. So again, both the mentors are holding you accountable. One is focusing on your personal life, and the other one is focusing on your professional life. And then the third one, which is the one that I've been surprising a lot of people with this one, because not just on the station, or should I say on these briefings or these opportunities I go out to teach it, but anytime I bring up the big three, the third one is kind of like the ghost in the room, right? Not a lot of people know about it. But the third one is your future you mentor. That person is the person that you were able to reach out to, seek, and say, when I grow up, listen to me, when I grow up, that's what I want to look like. What you're doing out there is what I'm trying to achieve ultimately. My ultimate goal, my next chapter, right? Not focused on where you're at right now, what you're doing and how you're sitting, but where are you trying to go next? What are you trying to do next? Perfect example, in the career I'm in now, what certifications am I getting to get to that seat? What courses am I taking? What achievements do I have? What do I need to do to get there? And to have that person in that seat or in that realm that's reaching back and helping you chart your course to get there, even while you're on this current journey, that's the ghost in the room. Not a lot of people have heard of the future you mentor. So those three, big three, we mention that all the time. What is your pull? I'm going to jump into that when we get back. And the big three, professional mentor, personal mentor, and the future you mentor. There's a whole team out there right now briefing Mentorship 101. I guarantee you they're not talking about the third one because not a lot of people discuss it. Comfortable where we're at, right? 78.6 FM Yomitan, Positive Vibes of Winsome. I can't wait to come back and talk to you guys more about this trip and about what was your pull. 78.6 FM Yomatown, positive vibes of Winston. I just want to make sure I'm being smart about my time today because, of course, my number one value in life is time. So I think I'm gonna take the acronym POOL and I'm gonna share that with you in its own lesson, right? I'm gonna take and give it its own time, maybe next week. And we're talking about goal setting, right? And setting goals and what are those things that are keeping you from your goals. So I'm gonna give it its own time next week. So I did a little tweak right over the little break. So this is what I'm gonna do a little differently. I'm excited to share that information. I just want to make sure I give it to you with its own energy and its own attention. Because there's other things I wanted to talk to you about today. And I want to make sure I got time for each one. And I really hope that the folks listening in, 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winston FM, Yomatan, 3-year anniversary, 3 years this week in here. I got the cool shirt on, if you can't see it, the FM Yomatan shirt. Got the Winston Son name tag on. I'm sitting here excited because it's new energy, new year. It's been an amazing adventure with the staff and the team here at FM Yomatan, wonderful, kind people and wonderful hearts, and just embracing me as family, putting up with my shenanigans and all my travels to make sure I'm still able to get here on Saturdays to spend time with you. So shout out to them. But there's a couple things I want to talk to you about. It kind of came out at the conference. Some of these things were discussed. And I focused away from careers. I focused away from professional. I focused on personal, right? I want to put that energy into how are you taking care of yourself. That's why I spent so much energy on the happier no matter what lesson, because I really wanted people to understand what their whole being looked like. And if you're not tracking what that is, let me go back and to go forward, right? So the SPIRE model for anti-fragility, SPIRE is spiritual, physical, intellectual, relational, and emotional well-being. What is your well-being in each one of those areas, right? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you doing the things that you need to keep that harmony with yourself? So we covered down on that, and I spent a lot of time talking to people about their well-being, and I love the energy. And we also gave them, we call it the ADP, right? Ascribe, describe, and prescribe, which is basically you got to fix yourself. Because at the end of the day, even if you're sitting down with a psychologist, you're sitting down with a chaplain, you're sitting down with a mental health person, at the end of the day, you have to do the work. So to be in a lesson to where you can ascribe something, describe something, and prescribe something for yourself, that means you're doing the work. And again, all of these concepts are from Dr. Tao in his book, Happy No Matter What, and working with the team and making sure they understood. We want to really provide this information in a way that's not only received but felt. And then when people walk out of the door, they're leaving better than we found them. So one of the things that we talked about that was outside of that book is spending time with the people who are good for your mental health. The people in your life should be bringing you joy, not draining it. The people in your life should be sources of joy and happiness, motivation, energy, not draining it from you. So if you are surrounding your people, yourself with people who are draining your energy all the time, constantly tired, dealing with these people is a chore, dealing with these situations is always draining. Had a young man sat in my class a few weeks ago, and he straight told me, he said, man, I every time I deal with my friends, it feels like there's some sort of drama or conflict. Those aren't the right people to be in your life unless there's another reason that's keeping you attached to them. Doesn't sound like they're bringing you energy, bringing you joy, bringing you happiness. They're a source of what you need in your life. Unless, of course, that's not what you're looking for. And those things don't mean a happy, fulfilling life to you, right? So when you surround your people, there's quotes out there, there's memes, all those things that tell you, show me your 5 friends, I'll show you who you are. But are you surrounding yourself with those people who are bringing you joy, inspiration, encouragement, life, love, energy? And sometimes, and depending on where you're at, those people might not be there where you are. So are you seeking those things in other sources, meaning books, podcasts, anything that's giving you that same energy, right? Encouragement, love, joy. Because sometimes you got to disconnect to connect. We talk about that in Happy No Matter What, and it's talking about something completely different. But listen to me, sometimes when it comes to people, especially if you're trying to refuel, reset, refresh yourself, right? Re-energize, recharge. Sometimes you got to disconnect in order to connect. And if you know me, if you're listening in, you know I'm I pick and choose my spots all the time. I am not hanging around with just any and everybody. And I say no a lot. Let me tell you, I say no a whole lot. Someone here in studio right now can tell you, I get invited to all kinds of places, but a lot of times I don't go because I do the math. This person, these people equals unhappy. Right? That person plus this place equals frustration or equals stress or equals work. And not the kind of work that I'm willing to do, the kind of work that's going to drain me and keep me distracted from where I'm trying to actually get to. So if you do the math of the people in your life, places, people, places, and things, what we call the nouns, right? The people, places, and things in your life that are not bringing you energy, joy, happiness, fulfillment, you got to eliminate those things. They're not good for your mental health. And if it's not good for your mental health, it's got to go. That word, of course, we're going to spend time this new year talking about it a lot more, but that word boundaries has to mean something to you. Because a lot of people don't know what boundaries are. A lot of people don't understand that boundaries actually help you determine the trajectory of your life. Because you're taking charge of your life when you're creating the boundaries that matter to you. Another one I got is chase the good, the lessons, and the blessings. A lot of people, the way you see the world is the way you perceive it. The way you perceive the world is the way it's going to be to you. Your perspective on everything is your reality. Let me say that again. Your perspective on the way you see everything is your reality. And sometimes we get kind of confused, especially if we're living in a negative situation or negative surroundings, to where we see things the way that everybody else sees it, and we take on perspectives of others, and it may not be that way. But understand, once you make that your perspective, once you make that your vision, what you see, that becomes your reality. Sometimes when you're going through something, instead of seeing it as a failure, instead of seeing it as a mistake, when you see it as a lesson, when you're able to take those experiences, sometimes they're painful, but when you're able to go through those painful experiences and at the end, you see the lesson in it. At the end, you see the blessing in it. Because sometimes those breakups, right? When you break up with someone, sometimes it's very painful. But I've also seen the folks who go through those painful breakups, the separation, right? They're missing someone or something. But when they really take a step back and look at it, they're realizing that person was keeping them from fulfilling their purpose, their dreams, completing goals, holding them back. And that's when you start realizing, wow, there's so much more I could have been doing in my life if I would have just cut this person off a long time ago. So you can see the lessons. The person was never good for me. Why did I even spend time with this person? The blessing, oh my goodness, I'm so glad that I'm free from that now, because there's so much more that I can do. So when you see life like that, situations, people, places, things, scenarios, no matter what you go through in your life, when you can see the lesson and the blessing and the good in it, not only are you changing your perspective, but you're living a more fulfilling life because you're starting to see the good. When you choose, remember what I said at the beginning of this comment, whatever your perspective is what your reality is. So if you're choosing to see the good, the lessons, and the blessings in these experiences, then guess what your reality becomes? Positive. Your reality becomes positive. Your reality becomes something you really, truly want to be a part of, something you're excited to wake up to, something you want to walk into the day and say, let's go. No matter what happened yesterday, I'm ready for today, because yesterday I survived it, and no matter what's in front of me, I'm going to get through it, and I'm going to thrive. Let's go. 78.6 FM, positive vibes of Winston. I covered down on two things. First time I was talking about spending time with people who are good for your mental health. And then secondly, I want to talk about making sure that you're finding the good, the lessons, and the blessings of all of the things that you encounter in your life. And I was talking about perspective and how the perspective you have on your life becomes your reality, no matter what it is. If you can see the good, whew, buddy, if you can see the good into whatever you're experiencing, whatever you're going through, if you can find it, you're doing something that a lot of people have not figured out yet. It's a life hack, cheat code, right? Something else that's very important to me, and I'm not going to be able to spend a whole lot of time because we're coming up on a break, but I want to tell you to live your way. Let me say that again. Live your way. It's your life. You only get one. You only have one opportunity to do this thing. This is the one dance. After this dance is over, you don't get another song. You only get one. And I don't want to get too excited about this one because I got some stuff for you. But live your way. Let's recap going into the break, right? Being able to see the good, the lessons, and the blessings in everything. Spending time with people who are good for your mental health. Not the people who are draining your energy and the people who it's work to be around, stressing you out, constant sources of stress. The people you surround your life with should be the people who are sources of good, positive energy. The people who you look forward to spending time around would not dread being around them. Focus on those people. Find those boundaries and learn how to say no. And don't feel obligated to be around anyone unless you absolutely have to be. There's some careers that you got to be around certain people for a certain amount of time until you make other choices. But let me tell you, if you have a choice, surround yourself with those people who are good for your mental health. 78.6 FM, positive vibes of Winston, FM Yomaton. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about living your way right after this break. See you in a second. .6 FM, positive vibes with Winston, FM Yomaton, 3-year anniversary. Bow, 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 bow. Right like my brother Joe does at work. 3-year anniversary, new shirt, new energy, new life, new topics. Hey, I don't want to beat up anything we've talked about this morning already, but I do want to cover down and just go over what we missed or what you may have missed if you weren't listening in. First thing we talked about was spend time. Well, I discussed the trip, of course. The trip from here to Philippines, from the Philippines to Montgomery, Alabama, and back. I've only been here back in Okinawa for a few days. I'm still a little jet lagged. It's been back-to-back blessings and opportunities to go out there and speak life into people and to create. You can't ask for anything more than that. No matter what happens from this point, I saw the blessings into the previous experiences, able to share and being able to reach so many people in that 1 3-day window. I won't even say just 3 days. In that 1 2-week span, being able to reach so many people, encourage and inspire so many people. And the feedback has been unprecedented and beautiful and appreciated. I talked about spending time with people who are good for your mental health. If you missed out on that, the people in your life should be feeding into your joy, your happiness, and what you're trying to do, your goals, your motivations. They should be energizing you, not draining you. They should be bringing you life, not taking your life away, right? We talk about people who live longer, do more things. I spoke on how Okinawa is a blue zone because people take care of themselves differently. They love on themselves differently. They build boundaries for themselves, right? Yet we have other countries, other places who don't have those. They don't stay around as long. Their average lifespan is different. Their energy is different. Their bodies look different. Their lives look different because they don't set those boundaries for themselves, which one of the most important ones to have is who do you surround yourself with? Who do you give your energy to, and who do you allow to pour energy into you? Because if it's not the right people, it's not the energy you want, it's going to be bad and detrimental for you. And we talked about choosing to see the lessons, the good, the lessons, and the blessings in everything. I mentioned this at the actual conference. I said if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I'm going to say that again to you because you may not have heard me. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I love that quote. And let me tell you something about that. What that means is you might walk into a situation and the way you saw before was, this is going to be crazy or trash or it's not going to be good, right? But if you walk into it with that mindset that I mentioned a little bit ago of, let me find a good in this. Let me find a lesson in this. What do I want to get from this? Let me find a blessing in this. I actually get to do this, not I got to do this. Let me tell you, when you can find the good, the lesson, and the blessings in anything you do, you change the way you approach life. You change the way you approach your day. And let me tell you, you just changed and shifted the way you've been moving probably your entire life. Where we left off was live your way. Let me tell you, when we discuss mentors, I told the crowd out there, 450 in the room, I told them straight up, I said, hey, you should not have a mentor who is trying to make you a carbon copy of them. Let me say that again. If your mentor is trying to make you them, it's the wrong one. Get what you need to move on. Because your mentor is supposed to be trying to make you better than them. I don't want anybody coming to me for support and I'm trying to make them me. Another version of me. No, I should be trying to make them better than me. That's my role as a mentor. No matter if it's personal, professional, or future, whatever I'm doing right now, I want you to do it better. This is the lessons I learned. I don't want you to bump your head the same way you might, but this is what I learned from bumping my head. Right? And it's important to say that because a lot of people who rely on these mentors are living the life their mentors lived, or living the life their parents lived, or living the life their friends lived, living other people's lives and paths instead of doing things their way. Now, if I take all the information from all these different people, I put it all together and I come up with my own path, that is the idea. That is the goal. That is the view. That's the direction you should be going in, the path that works for you. And yes, you're going to bump your head sometimes. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to learn some lessons. You're going to see the blessings. But when you keep going, let me say that again. When you keep going, no matter how hard that head bump was, no matter how times you stumble and trip, when you get back up and keep moving and keep fighting towards your goal, vision, your belief, whatever it is you have set in front of you that you see for yourself, it's going to be so amazing when you get there and you look back. And what you're going to see is all the people that were rooting you on, You're going to see all the people that supported you. You're going to see all the people that are proud of you. And they're watching with smiles, eyes wide open, admiring that you did the work. Your way, not theirs. They're proud of you. Trust me. There's going to be gatekeepers. This is why it's so important for you to understand to live and move your way. There's going to be gatekeepers that are gatekeeping unnecessarily because you're not going in the direction they want you to go in, or because you're doing something that they wouldn't do or weren't comfortable doing. There's going to be gatekeepers that are going to say, either you do it this way or I'm not supporting you, or you do it this way or don't talk to me, or you do it this way and I'm not going to help, or I'm not going to help you. Let me tell you, I've seen it, experienced it, learned it, and I'm still watching it. There are gatekeepers out there for some reason that feel like your dream isn't as important as their vision. You have to live your life your way and get there regardless, to your vision, not theirs. So if I'm going to give you an example and I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm talking about, just imagine that you have a job that you want. And the person that's in that job right now takes you under their wing and says, hey, let me help you get here, right? In order to get here, you got to take A, B, and C steps. Cool, great. Then you realize that not that job anymore is pulling to you, but there's another job, maybe a step higher or a step to the left or to the right. But it's something that's appealing to you right now. That's what your heart's calling you. This is what I want to do right there. I didn't even realize that existed. And that person that was first in your corner sees that you're not going in the direction they wanted to. So A, they sabotage you. B, they stop supporting you. Or C, they just cut you off completely. That is not the mentor, the teammate, the wingman that you need in your life. Like I told you earlier, get what you need and go. Because gatekeepers don't care about you. They care about themselves and how whatever you achieve benefits them. Somebody who really cares about you is whatever you achieve benefits you, and we all win because you won. So no matter what, do it your way. Stop living other people's dreams and live your own. Don't chase other people's goals. Create your own. Stop chasing other people's visions and wishes for you and come up with your own vision and wish for yourself. Because when you make those things become reality, it's that much sweeter when you climb to the top of the mountain and you're looking at everybody who helped you climb, and those people are still coming up with you, or those people are still watching and admiring and loving your moves. Those are your people that are going to be in your life forever. Those are the people you should never forget. Those are people that you keep. Those are the people that you surround yourself with because they want you to grow. They want you to live. They want you to thrive. And if you don't have those people in your life, the ones that want you to grow, want you to live your best life and want you to thrive, find them, chase them. Stop settling because you think this is what you deserve or just you think this is what you have to have. No. You go out there and you find those people. You connect to those people who are chasing what you want in your life, who have what you want in your life, who are doing what you want in your life. Because when you surround yourself with them, that energy becomes your energy. That vision becomes your vision. That is all of that. You can embrace it. And you take those pieces that make you you. You take that passion that you're surrounded with. And let me tell you something, what happened? Those doors aren't doors anymore. It's wide open for you. The path becomes clearer because you got shared visions. Your life is yours again. You took your power back. You took your life back. You're on your journey for you. Do it, live it your way. And at the end, there's no regrets because you took chances. Because you listened to the information that was good for your vision and your goal. You listened to the folks and paid attention to the ones you knew were trying to support you and encourage you, not the ones that had ulterior motives and were trying to either, A, you do what I want or I'm sabotaged. No, you paid attention to the ones that were regardless, unwavering. The ones that were consistent. But let me tell you something. If you don't listen to anybody else, listen to yourself. Listen to your heart. Because when you make the moves and you make the steps and you make the decisions based on what your heart is telling you, no matter where you land, you trusted yourself. You believed in yourself. You backed yourself. And no matter what finish line you hit, you did the work to get there. And guess what? You're going to have the opportunity after that to help somebody else navigate. Hey, this is my finish line right here. Let me tell you how I got here. Let me tell you what you need to do to get yourself here. But let me tell you, be better than me. You just became the mentor you might have needed on your journey. 78.6 FM, Yomatan, positive vibes of Winston. The last one I already covered a little bit, was believe yourself, trust yourself, and let go. I like to say it a little different, is believe in yourself, back yourself, love yourself enough to fight for the best version of you. Let me say that again in case you missed it. Believe in yourself, back yourself, and trust yourself enough to fight for the best version of you. Let me tell you, no matter what you're trying to achieve in life, if you don't believe that you can do it, you'll never do it. Let me tell you something. If you're expecting everybody else to be your motivation and your energy, but you don't have that in yourself, you don't have that belief within you, it's never going to happen. If you haven't taken a second to say, I got this, you can open up my website right now. It's going to tell you I am, I can, and I will. I spoke about the sheer will of Johnny Kim while I was at this briefing, and how amazing this man is to me because of the fact, the sheer will, determination, and fight in him to go from being a Navy SEAL to a doctor to now a NASA astronaut. Come on, man. When I see somebody moving like that, there's no way I can ever give up on myself, because I see it's a reality. I believe it's possible, and I believe it's in me. So if you have that belief, I am, I can, and I will, then you already started. Then you're already there. Now it just takes the effort and the consistency and the discipline to get it done. You already got the first piece down, right? The belief. And let me tell you, after belief, you got to trust yourself. You got to know that everything that you survived up to this point has built the person that you are. I'm not talking about unrealistic expectations like being in the NFL without ever playing a football practice or a game. No, I'm talking about the knowing that you have the strength to accomplish things that you've put your mind to and things that you've worked for. You have to trust yourself. I can do this. Remember the 3 words I told you, 3 phrases: I am, I can, and I will. You have to trust yourself. Now, if you can't trust yourself, it's the same thing as like if you can't love yourself. If you can't trust yourself, how in the world can you trust anybody around you? You have to trust yourself. We'll talk more about this when we get back from the break. 78.6 FM, positive vibes of Winston. See you in a minute. 78.6 FM Yoma Time. When we left, we were talking about believing in yourself, backing yourself, and fighting to be the best version of you. Let me tell you again, believing in yourself. Believe. If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't have belief, you're never going to be able to get started. That vision is going to stay a vision. That thought is going to stay a thought. That wish is going to be there because you didn't believe that you had within you what it took to get whatever you had set in front of you done. You have to believe in yourself. Then you have to back yourself. The way it was phrased, you have to trust yourself. You got to trust yourself and back yourself and believe, you know what? I am, I can, and I will. When you can do that, when you can believe in yourself, then back what you believe, and then trust that you can do it, you are limitless. It's going to take an act of something to knock you off course because you are driven. You drove yourself to believe, I got this. And then believe in yourself, back yourself, and fight for the best version of you. All the things we've been talking about today, everything about the steps to growth and goal setting and being the best version, and all of this has to do with fighting. It's not going to be easy. If it was easy, and they say this all the time in quotes, memes, and shows, if it was easy, everybody would do it and have it. Everybody be a millionaire. Everybody be happy. Everybody would just be in bliss all the time. But let me say this to you. It's not going to be easy, but it's worth it. It's not going to be easy, but what you build, the trust you build in yourself when you get towards your finish line, the experience, the journey, the story, and the relationship that you've created with yourself when you believe yourself, back yourself, and fight for the best version of you, no matter what the end result is, you did it for you. And those that are watching you, you just inspired somebody to say, I didn't think that was possible, but it is. I didn't think that could happen, but it did. And if somebody was doubting themselves and then they see you succeed and win or continue to fight, you are showing them that it's possible. So when you're doing these things for you, you're benefiting everybody around you. Everybody wins. You're a fighter. You came into this world screaming and swinging. Go out of it the same way, giving it everything you got. 78.6 FM Yoma Time, positive vibes of Winsome. We talked about a couple things. I don't want to miss anything, so I'm going to go over them real quick. I wrote these down. Spend time for the people that are good for your mental health. We covered that, right? Choose to see the good, the lessons, and the blessings in everything you do. When you wake up in the morning, it's got to be let's go. Stop saying I got to do anything and start realizing that you get to. Every day is a blessing. Every new day, every new breath that we take when we wake up, every time you open your eyes and you're still here is a blessing. And when you can see that, the lessons, the blessings, and the good in everything, you're winning. You're going to thrive. You're going to survive anything because you got this, right? And then we talked about living your way. Not being a carbon copy of anybody else, not being somebody else's version that they want you to be, but being the person that you want to be, the person that you can be proud of, the person that you wanted to see, that you saw in your vision, that you see in front of you, being that person for you. Imagine that. Living the life you want to live. Not the life that anybody else wants for you, but the one that you see, the one that your heart is on fire for. One that I skip. And I say for this lesson or for this segment, it's taking care of yourself. It sounds easy, right? Take care of yourself. But I'm going to tell you, I had a room full of people that when I was breaking down concepts of how to take care of yourself spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually, a lot of these concepts were new to them. They had never seen it the way that I was explaining it. And I'm going to break this down. The Spire is so incredible, so I'm not going to try to throw it into a 4-minute segment, but I will tell you that when you are able to take care of yourself spiritually, physically, and mentally, I'm just going to start with those three, you're taking your life back. And everything that I've been talking about today is all about that. It's all about how to take control of your life, how to take your life back. We talked about boundaries, right? A little word I threw in there, a little sneak in there because it's so important. I'm going to have this. We did a whole 3-episode segment or 3 episodes on boundaries on the podcast a few months back because it's so important to have them. So now I'm telling you right now, your physical. In the military, they got that thing called fit to fight. And one of the things I was telling this audience of military, civilians, Guard, Reserve, what about fit for life? What about taking care of yourself so that you're around longer? So not just you, but your kids and your grandkids. So that you can actually have a story to tell. After all these things that we discussed today, that you can actually tell your story when you're done fighting and swinging and you're just enjoying life now. You're just reaping the benefits of all the work that you did for you and those that were watching you and that loved you and supported you and encouraged you. When you're telling this story now to your grandkids, right? Are you physically taking care of yourself to get there, to have that opportunity? I was telling the story of coming down the 99 steps at the Zampa Lighthouse, and had to be a 96, 98-year-old man walking around, just speed walking around that whole trail. I can't even do that at 44, but I wanted some of that, right? And it was the coolest thing. He stops and he's konnichiwa, right? And I'm smiling. I'm like, that's so cool, right? I want that to be me. I want to be able to be around and do these things and have a body that can actually do that later on in life and not just for a little small portion of it. Having the mental toughness, the mental capacity, the mental strength to survive, thrive, to be better than yesterday. To understand that my mental is important because my body and my mind are connected. And if I'm not taking care of my mind, then there's no way I'm going to be able to take care of my body because I'm going to be all over the place. That's straight out the book, too. You can't cut the mind off from the body and expect your body to do any more work, even though your heart was there first. Your mind. And that can be your best friend or your worst enemy. But when you're taking care of it and you're taking your thoughts back and your mind back and controlling those positive thoughts, that's part of that challenge. And then spiritually, knowing the difference between informal and formal mindfulness. Knowing what you need to refill your spirit, not just to recharge your body, but to refill your spirit. What brings you joy? What allows you to disconnect to connect? What do you need in your life to be that best version of you? To have that presence, to be present in the moment. How do you get there? How do you tweak what you do right now to get back to being present? Because let me tell you, presence isn't just important when you're trying to achieve a dream or goal, but it's anywhere and everywhere you are. You want to be present. And let me tell you, when you walk in that room, people don't see the name tag all the time, but they don't know what you do. Sometimes it's your presence on top of your character, on top of your energy, but your presence. Whew. Buddy, I know some people that walk in the room and just be like, wow, right? That dude, there's something about him. Or that lady, there's something about her. It's her presence. Do you know what yours looks like, sounds like, the vibe you give off? Are you present in what you're dealing with today when you walk into the day? Are you taking time to feed your spirit so you can be energized and recharged? And are you doing all these things? So let me tell you something. Strong mind, strong body, strong spirit, strong life. 78.6 FM Yomitan, positive vibes with Winsome. You are loved, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. I'll see you guys next week.